What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy Rex, and I'm here on the series again, Meet My Mentor with Paul Hutchinson. And Paul, one thing that I've always admired about you is you, as well as anyone I've ever met, are really good at edifying the other people you're with. And so I just want to shut up and let you talk about that for a minute. It was kind of how you've learned to do that so well, because it's one of those things that you know the friends that are good at edifying versus those that are not, because you know how you feel when you get introduced. If somebody has that skill, it's such a valuable skill and a very, honestly, underused skill.
Well, and it's powerful in building credibility as well. You know, you can't toot your own horn, but you can toot somebody else's, right? And so, for example, I spent a lot of time with my business partner, Don Hartman, in building the fund. Don had a fantastic background and very pedigreed, you know, went to Ivy League school and did some great things in Asia and whatnot. But I realized that when we went into a meeting with a potential investor, you know, the investor is on this pedestal. They're like, oh, I'm the guy. Come and show me what you want. You know, show me why you're so much better than all the other peasants that have been here. You know, it's not that bad, but
no, but yeah.
But to a degree, you know, they're here, and everybody trying to pitch them on something is here. And so what we would do is a lot of times Don would be late, but we'd let him be late on purpose a little bit, because I need some one-on-one time with these guys. Because I was really good at breaking the ice and building a relationship with them. At the same time, even with the relationship, I'm the guy looking for money. They're the guy that has it, right? In building the fund. And so we would go in and we were talking, and I would say, you know, let me tell you a bit about Don before he gets here. You know, Don was in Asia. He worked for Citigroup there. He wrote a series of reports that predicted the Asian crisis before it happened, and you know, ended up raising $14 billion to bail out the Asian debt crisis, and saw this. So all of this credibility. So by the time Don walked in the room, now they were listening to him. Does that make sense? Because I had built him up to the point where, and I'm not throwing stupid stuff, you know. Yeah, I'm not going to tell him he walks on water, you know. But at the same time, some very valuable things. And sometimes it's better to edify in a place when they're not there, because we're there in the room. Hey, let me. It's
kind of awkward. You're like, yeah.
So on purpose, we would do it when they're not there, and then that person is here, and then then I would, like, halfway through the meeting or whatever else, I've got a smaller bladder than most, so I'd excuse myself, go to the bathroom. While I was gone, Don would always take that opportunity to say, hey, let me tell you, do you know what Paul does from a charity standpoint? Kind of builds up there. And so all of a sudden when I come back, now we're both in a position where they're listening to us, and it's easier to follow up and everything else, and then we can build up the credibility of our team and everything else. Make sense?
Yeah.
And so it works great with people's kids. I'm telling you, the best thing you can do for somebody is to edify the parents to their children.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You know?
Yeah.
Not right in front of them either. You know, tell the kids, hey, you know what? I know your dad really well. And he really understands X, Y, Z or whatever else. And great dad, I know he loves you, whatever. And so edifying those parents is giving them the power. It goes into a relationship as well. I mean, if you're married, don't you dare de-edify your spouse in front of the kids. That's the worst thing. It just takes away. If you're taking away your wife's power, your husband's power to be able to effectively teach and discipline and everything else with those kids. Building up is such a powerful principle when it comes to how other people or the children, etc., understand and see that person.
Well, and being a single guy for as long as I did, it's kind of like having a wingman. And it's, you know, I always knew which guys I wanted to go out with, because those that knew how to edify, you always were coming from a position of strength.
Yeah.
And if they didn't know how to edify, or if they were edifying themselves, it always made you look weak. Yeah. And it's as simple as, like, you know, you say, can I tell you something really cool? And you just say something that's honest, right? Yeah. And I do it. It's so funny you say that with to edify parents, because I remember when I was a kid, I always felt so good when somebody would talk about how cool my mom or dad was. That was such a good feeling as a kid to be like, wow, this person really looks up to my parents, right? And then you also know what it's like, though, when you hear somebody down talk somebody. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's, you know, like, that person doesn't have a very favorable opinion of my dad or whatever it might be. And so it really is so valuable. It's one of those things that anytime I, you know, come across, well, I'll give you an example. We have a mutual friend, Andy McCubbins. And
love Andy.
And Andy's one of the best humans. He's kind of the third guy I would have sitting here if we had another person sitting here right now. And Andy, I did we threw together the auction party, the gala, the black tie gala a couple months ago for charity. And my sister was there. And Andy just came up and he said, can I just tell you something? Your brother is a effing rock star. He just said that. He's like, he's probably my favorite person. Anyway, just thought you should know. And like walks off. And she told me later, she's like, I don't know who that friend of yours is, but I had a smile on my face for an hour. And she's like, you know, and she actually got teary-eyed after she met a bunch of my friends. And she said, I've always worried about you because I knew you had very successful friends, but I didn't know if they were good people. She goes, I couldn't believe how you guys help each other, how you guys talk about each other, the way you guys edify each other. And it, like, she literally got really choked up. She's like, what a beautiful, every room you guys walk into, you all walk in beaming because you've already been edifying each other to everybody else. Yeah. It's just a really cool example. And I think a lot of us learn that, you know, watching you.
It's a powerful principle that, that you can always find something good to say about everybody. You know, everybody knows when you're full of crap too.
Yeah.
You know, when I've got somebody there and I'm telling them, hey, you know, this guy's the richest guy in Utah.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's not,
you know?
right.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can find something that's true about that person that builds them up. You know, if you can identify what that thing is about that person, so that when you're introducing people to them, you can throw that out and build them up. It makes them so much more effective to their employees, to other people, to the potential investors, to their children, to everything. It's one of the kindest gifts that you can give to somebody is a true edification of them in front of their peers.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much. That's perfect.